Hey, how you doing? It's Tim Shurr, and welcome back to episode 7 on insomnia and how to get more restful sleep. This is part 7 in our series of how to take your health back, how to increase your health, your energy, your vitality, so that you can feel good and look good. And when you feel good in your mind and you feel good in your body, it gives you the energy and the motivation and the zest to be able to go out there and make your dreams come true. And so today we're talking about sleep, right? And what's going to happen tonight when you lay down. I've helped so many people who have come to me because of insomnia. For a variety of reasons, people have a hard time getting to sleep. And the number one reason is because when you lay down at night to go to sleep, you relax. And it kind of lets your guards down. And when our guards are let down, our mind starts going. And if we haven't been training ourselves to focus on what we want so that we can make ourselves feel safe, so that we're using the power of our mind to prepare us rather than scare us, if we're not doing that, and let's face it, most people don't do that. Most people aren't practicing that. And as a result, most people can't turn their minds off. And so when they lay down to go to sleep, you're just going, and all the thoughts come to mind of all the stuff you didn't get done today, all the stuff you have to do tomorrow, all the other worries that we have. Am I really feeling happy? Am I ever going to achieve my goal? Am I going to be able to make the rent this month? Does my life matter, right? Brendan Bouchard is a famous speaker, and he says that he was in a car accident and when he was like 19, and he said that what came from his near-death experience was 3 questions, and the 3 questions are: did I live, did I love, and did I matter? Right? And at the end of our lives, we're going to ask those 3 questions: did I live, did I love, and did I matter? And so, we start worrying about, are we really living, or are we just surviving? Are we getting from the day, or are we just getting through another one? And so we constantly will worry about, am I really living? Am I really, did I do it right? Did I choose wrong? Sometimes all we do is think about how we should have done our life differently, but we do the best that we can, and we can't do anything about our past. All we can do is use our energy to do something now to create a more fulfilling present and a more enjoyable future. So we've got to create hope. Right? And so by creating hope and getting excited and focusing our mind on things that make us feel inspired, that's what helps us to feel secure inside and be able to rest, because we know tomorrow we're going to have a plan. But if we're not doing that, if we're sitting there worrying about everything and worrying about, what's going on with the family and what's going on with your marriage and what's going on with your kids and what's going on with your friends and what's going on at work, all these pressures will keep people up. And I know I've lost sleep, many nights worrying about different things, but I have found that I have never worried so much that it suddenly made everything better. Have you? Most of the time, my worrying just makes things worse. In fact, it feels like I'm paying in advance for things that often don't even happen when I'm sitting there worrying. And so instead, it's a waste of time. I've learned to reassure myself, and that's what we got to get you doing too. And so we say, did I live? Did I love? Am I really loving myself? Am I really loving others? It's hard to really love others if you're not loving yourself. And so many people have an issue with that. It's surprising just how many people are feeling like, they don't feel good about themselves. They're unhappy, they're depressed, they're feeling like they don't have purpose. They feel like their hands are tied behind their back. They feel like they just can't. Even if you know what you want, which a lot of times people don't know what they want, but even if you did know what you want, it feels like you can't get it. It's like it's right there, but it's just out of reach, right? And you can't close the gap. And so again, what we have to do is, the people that close the gap are the ones that they just keep going for it anyway. And then eventually you get there, right? Because it takes a certain amount of luck, it takes a certain amount of time, it takes a certain amount of persistence, and it takes a certain level of growth for you to grow into the person that you need to be able to have what you want to have. So many times we don't want to grow, we don't want to be better, we just want to have what we want. And there's an old saying that says, be, do, have, right? And most of the time, what people would do is they would say, do stuff, then you can have what you want, and then you can be the person you've always wanted to be. And that's a backwards approach, and that's what most people do. I'm just going to do as much stuff as possible so I can have, a healthy body or a better relationship or have more money or have more success, have more fame, whatever it is. And then we kill ourselves trying to do all these things, trying to prove ourselves, and then it doesn't work out. So the accurate model is be, then do, then have. okay? And so, or actually, I think I have that backwards. The correct model is be, then you have, then you take action. And what I mean by that is be the person that you want to be. So if you want to have more money, how would you behave if you had more money? What kind of confidence would you have? How would you carry yourself? What kind of chances would you take if you already felt like you were financially secure instead of coming from stress or scarcity? So if you are already thinner, what choices would you make to be healthy, right? And then you act as if you're already this way. That creates a feeling inside of more confidence. It makes us feel more powerful. And so we actually are having the feelings immediately that we think that achieving our goal is going to give us. We start to experience them now. And then you take action, right? And then your actions, so that's the do part. So it's be, then have, then do. And so that way you're acting as if you're already where you want to be. That gives you the feelings and the fuel to be able to make good, smart, better choices. And then because you're making those better choices, things start to work out better. It's like the law of attraction. Not whatever you think about the most, whatever you feel the most, you draw other situations that give you those same kind of feelings. The reason that people talk about how you think when it comes to the law of attraction is because what you think about and what you're focusing on, that's what creates the feelings. So you got to make sure that you're focusing your thoughts in a way that creates those emotional states that are going to then cause you to behave in a certain way and attract more like-minded energy, more of the same kind of energy to you. So if you're feeling calm, then you tend to attract things into your life that are more calm. If you walk into a room and you're calm, even if other people are upset, they tend to calm down. If you're upset and you walk into a room, you tend to bring that energy with you, and then you find that everybody else starts to escalate as well. And so we want to make sure that when we are learning how to take charge of our thoughts, that we're focusing our mind on, all right, who do I want to be? Not who do I think I'm supposed to be, but who do I want to be, right? So many times people say, I don't know who I am. It doesn't matter who you are. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to grow into becoming? Think about that. And then focus on, all right, if I was already that way, how would I feel? And then start focusing on conjuring up those feelings inside. It might take a little bit of practice. You might not get it in a day or two. It might take you a couple of weeks to really start to feel it. But if you spend the next couple of weeks doing this and then you start to really get it, it changes your life forever, for the whole rest of your life. So it's worth it. A couple of weeks of practicing something new is totally worth it to have a lifetime of new habits and beliefs. So when we lay down at night, are we thinking about, all of the stuff that comes up that makes us upset? And if so, I want you to think of it this way. You're like the director of the movies of your mind. And you want to make sure that you are focusing your thoughts on, and creating this movie in the way that you want it to be. And so if you have scary thoughts that pop into mind, a lot of times they just pop into mind. We're not trying to think of scary things. It just kind of happens. But if you have scary thoughts that pop into mind, stressful, worrisome thoughts, then give those thoughts a happier ending. If you were the editor, how would you change it? How would you want things to work out? And so it's just a series of asking yourself more powerful questions, more empowering questions. So powerful questions usually start out with, all right, what is the outcome that I want? How do I want to feel? What resources do I have? Who can I lean on for support? What's one thing I can do right now to take action? What's one thing I can control that'll make things better? Because then it focuses you on what you can do and the direction you want to move in. And whatever you think about most of the time, your life becomes. And so it's very important to keep focusing your mind on what you want. Your brain comes with the steering wheel. And you have to hold on to that steering wheel when you're flying through life if you want to arrive at your destination. Most people are flying through life and they're flying down the highway of life and they're got their hands behind their back, right? They've let go of the steering wheel. They're not actively driving their thoughts. They're just in reaction mode. I'm always reacting to everything instead of being intentional. So we've got to make sure that we're focusing our mind and grabbing a hold of the steering wheel. So one of the ways you do that is by asking more empowering questions. Now, always happen to me? How come I'm not good enough? Why can't I achieve this goal? Why is it no matter how hard I try, nothing works out? when you're asking lousy questions, it's not even a question. It's more of an assumption that you've made already. Okay, so when you say, why doesn't anything work out for me? What that actually is, it's not a question, it's an assumption that nothing ever works out for you. And then your mind's gonna have to answer. You know, if you said, what's the outcome I want? Your mind's gonna start to say, well, this is what I'd like to have. But if you ask yourself, well, how come things never work out for me? Your mind has to answer, so it's gonna say, well, because you don't deserve it, right? Or you're not good enough, or you're not smart enough, or you don't have enough willpower, or you don't have enough self-control, or who do you think you are? Or, you know, a variety of false ideas will pop into your mind. So our job is to make sure that we are grabbing a hold of the steering wheel and asking better questions. So if you want to get better sleep at night, the first thing we got to do is get control of your thoughts. Now, the second thing we want to do is we want to set up a routine where you actually set yourself up to sleep at night. Because most people are running on 4, 5, 6 hours of sleep. They're waking up 2 or 3 times to go to the bathroom, and they're not getting deep REM, restful sleep. And that's a problem, right, for so many people. And then we wake up tired. And then when you're tired, you have zero willpower. And then that's when people start turning to the soft drinks and the sugar and all the caffeine and the nicotine and all the stimulants to try to get them through the day. And it wreaks havoc on your body. And then it messes you up, and then you don't sleep good the following night. I'll tell you, one of the things that's been helping me sleep better is I've been taking daily walks with you. And just getting out and doing some fitness and getting out and breathing fresh, clean air every evening has helped a lot. Then you set a bedtime for yourself. Sometimes people think, well, I'll just sleep in, and then they stay up all night. Well, if you stay up till 1 in the morning and you sleep in till 9 or 10, you're not going to feel rested and refreshed. You got to go to bed earlier to actually feel rested, to actually catch up. Sleeping in doesn't work as well. I'm not sure why, but it doesn't. So going to bed earlier is what helps us get more rest. Now, a lot of times people are like, I can't go to bed early because I just lay there and my mind starts going. Well, that's where you've got to learn the mind quieting techniques, the meditation, the prayer, the self-hypnosis, where you learn to redirect your thoughts and relax your body. Now, a lot of times what people do is they just use my brain software programs, like my sound sleep program. My sound sleep program has helped so many insomniacs fall asleep and get restful sleep that night because of the suggestions and the technology that's embedded in that program. It's pretty amazing stuff. There's nothing easier than lay and play, right? Lay down and press play, and then I will take you through all these experiences. So you can find that program on timshurr.com or indiehypnosis.com, and it will help you just by pushing play and listening to those programs. I think that everybody should listen to these audio programs while they're sleeping at night, because it's the fastest way to recharge your batteries. Because let's face it, most people, even if they knew a couple of techniques, they have a hard time using it. Have you ever found yourself, and I've heard people say this before, when I'm in the moment, I forget to do the stuff that I know to do, or I don't feel like doing it in that moment. So, but if you have a program that you can listen to, all you have to do is push play, and then the rest takes care of itself. So, if you want to get more restful sleep, that is the fastest way that I know. That's why almost all of my programs, I've been turning them into sleep programs. So it creates no extra effort. It's super easy to use. You don't have to come up with any extra time, because people would say, well, I don't have any extra time. I don't have an extra 20 or 30 minutes in the middle of my day to lay down and take a nap. So I started creating these programs where you just go to sleep at night. Everybody's gonna sleep. And then if you get more restful sleep and you're getting more like 7 or 8 or 9 hours of restful sleep, then your whole day is different. You feel so much better, so much stronger, so much more powerful. And so quieting your mind when you go to bed is huge. Creating the sleep routine around you is huge. Setting a bedtime where you go to bed every night at that time. Now, a lot of times what I do is, or what I'll notice is people will say that, well, I lay down and then I can't sleep, so I grab my phone or I grab my tablet. And that's a bad idea, because a lot of times we'll use our phone as an alarm. But if you get notifications, your phone is beeping and vibrating and chirping through the night, and it wakes you up. Or it comes on and it fills the room with light and it wakes you up. And so we want to have, most smartphones have a do not disturb, They have a nighttime function where they block everything so that you can unplug and get away from your device. But going to bed with your smartphone, going to bed with your tablet or your computer is a bad idea, because it's too tempting to get on there and start perusing through YouTube and Facebook. And even if you're watching my videos, hey, I love that, but not when you're supposed to be sleeping. Turn the stuff off and go to sleep, okay? And so, and the first couple of nights, if you don't have one of my brain software programs and you're just trying some of these techniques on your own, then you know, you'll have some good results, but you might feel like it takes a couple of days for you to get used to going to bed at the same time or a little bit earlier, because you're getting into a routine. And any routine in the beginning is more challenging to get into, but you got to stay with it. And the more you stay with it, the better it works out for you. And so you got to have patience. A lot of times our expectations are it should work immediately, right? And so if it doesn't work right away, then it must not be working. And that is such a mistake. That's such a self-sabotage. It takes time, right? Most everything that you do these days, you walking, you talking, you being able to write, you being able to put makeup on, you being able to drive a car, even getting dressed on your own. These were things that none of us were good at when we first started. But with practice, we got better at it. Imagine if you got up and you fell down the first time you're learning to walk, and then you're like, oh, the heck with this stuff, I'm not doing that anymore. Nobody would be walking. We'd still all be crawling around everywhere. But no, we fell down, we got back up, we fell down, we got back up. We took a couple steps, we fell back down, we get back up, we take a couple more steps, we fall down, we get back up, we take a few more steps, and this time we don't fall. And we're like, ooh, what is this? And our brain learns things, okay? And so it's the same way with riding a bike. You don't know how to ride a bike, and then all of a sudden, in an instant, you know how to ride a bike. And then once you know, you know. I mean, it's a really cool thing, kind of like swimming too. And so we've just got to recognize that there's going to be a bit of a learning curve. So you don't drink water about 2 hours before you go to bed so that you're not peeing all night, okay? You don't have your phone in your room. Get a regular alarm clock if you need to. And if you do have your phone, then put on the do not disturb function so that it's not messing with you or waking you up or coming on at night. You want to make sure that you stop eating about an hour or two before you go to bed, so you go to bed on a slightly empty stomach. That will give your body the ability to get REM sleep and go into deeper dreamlike sleep instead of spending all its energy on digestion. You want your body to spend its energy on healing and elimination and getting the energy out, and if it needs fuel, it'll draw from the fat that's stored in your body, which means you'll wake up thinner. Now you might only wake up a few ounces thinner, but if you do that every night, then guess what? That ends up being pounds. And so you can actually get thinner while you're sleeping just because you have a smarter system and a smarter plan. And so being able to do something calming before you go to sleep at night, watching CNN before you fall asleep at night, or Fox News before you fall asleep at night, is not a good way to calm and quiet your spirit. It's not a good way to soothe your energy, because there's too much bickering, too much yelling, too much negativity, too much blaming, too much yuck, right? And so that has an effect on us. I know people will say, I can't go to bed unless there's sound in the room. Well, that's fine. Then just make sure that you're choosing the right sounds. They've got meditation sounds, they've got nature sounds, they've got the brain software programs I've told you about. There's lots of things that you can use. You just got to find the right one that makes you feel more at ease. But falling asleep with the TV on is usually a bad idea, because you don't know what's on the TV, and that stuff is getting into your head, right? Zig Ziglar, a famous motivational speaker. I was a big fan of his for a long time. I got to meet him, and he's just an amazing guy. And while he was still alive, and he said, never fall asleep while you are watching TV, because that stuff goes right into your subconscious mind, and you don't know what those messages are, and usually it's not very good, and so it ends up messing with you, and then you don't sleep well, and then you wake up, not only waking up feeling yucky, but you wake up feeling like you need to sign up for a new real estate course for whatever infomercial happened to be on in the middle of the night. So again, we want to make sure that we have a routine where we're slowing down, we set a regular time where we go to bed, we keep the room nice and dark, we're not eating or drinking before we go to sleep at night, we're not watching anything that would work you up. You should be watching programs or doing some stretching or taking a hot shower or listening to an audio program that is soothing and relaxing, doing some prayer, doing some journaling, making a list for what you're going to do tomorrow. These are all activities that are going to help you to feel more at ease. Now, another trick that I've used in the past is I keep a journal next to my bed. And so if all of a sudden I wake up, and I've had plenty of nights where I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got this genius idea. And I had to get up and I had to go downstairs and I had to write it down or type it in my computer to get it out of my head. Or otherwise it would be gone in the morning. And so I started putting a journal by my bed so that if I needed, if I had a moment of inspiration, then I would just write it down in the journal, and then that would be really good. And then I would wake up and I'd have that. And so if you have a lot of thoughts going on in your mind, get out your journal, write them all down. That way your conscious mind doesn't have to use all this energy trying to remember all of these things you have to do tomorrow, because you just got them out of your head. Now they're written down, now they're safe. If there's anything else that comes up, you can remember it tomorrow, or you can look at your list, and it allows you to relax. It allows you to feel more peaceful. It allows you to feel more at ease, and that's what we want. So anything that you can do to calm and soothe and smooth your energy when you're working up to going to sleep at night, that'll be really good. Now, here's a couple techniques that you can use that will help you sleep better. Number one, use power breathing. Most people breathe through their mouth, especially when they're worrying, especially when they're stressed. They breathe through their mouth. Mouth breathing makes us hyperventilate. When we hyperventilate, then it causes all kinds of stress, and then we can't go to sleep at night. And like I said, when you don't sleep at night, you wake up tired, and then even if you eat great and exercise all day long, if you're tired, your body releases cortisol, which causes you to store fat, so it won't matter what you do to try to get healthier. So the second thing that we want to do is we're breathing in through our nose, down to our belly, slowly exhaling, and we count to 5 while we breathe. When you're counting mentally, not out loud, but in your own mind, you breathe in, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then as you exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You do that 5 or 10 times in a row, slowing the count down as you go. As you slow the count down, what happens is you start to stimulate your relaxation response, your brain's natural ability to feel calm, resourceful, and at ease. You can just flip on that switch. It releases endorphins and enkephalins. It's like natural Ambien for your brain, but it's natural, right? You don't need Ambien, you don't need Klonopin, you don't need to take a hit off a joint or take CBD oil or drink, a box of wine. You don't have to do those things when you learn to quiet your mind naturally. And so being able to use your power breathing to turn on your relaxation response is huge. Now here's another little technique that you can use. I call it the reverse spin. I want you to imagine that sometimes we have this anxiety inside of us. It's like this spinning energy. You cannot feel anxious in slow motion. You have to speed up inside in order to feel anxiety. So we breathe through our mouth, we start focusing on all the things that we're upset about, our body gets tight, we start to notice that our heart is pounding faster, and then all of a sudden it just triggers the fight or flight response, and we're off to the races with our worry and our stress. And then we're like, oh my God, I gotta call the doctor and get some drugs. And then it just puts us in that tailspin. So the way out of that is by slowing down. Now the power breathing will start to slow you down. But this reverse spin technique works really well too. So what you do is you imagine there's like a little spinning energy inside of you, like a little tornado going round and round and round, or a little ceiling fan, okay? And it's going round and round, and you might notice which direction it goes, left to right, right to left. What you want to do is imagine slowing this energy down, all the way down to a stop. Now, you've seen that happen if you have a ceiling fan at home, and you turn off the power. The fan doesn't just suddenly stop, it slows down. It goes slower and slower and slower until eventually it comes to a rest. Now most ceiling fans have a little slide switch on it. If you move that slide switch and you turn the wall power back on, that fan starts to rotate in the opposite direction. It starts to go the other way, okay? As it goes the other way, it creates a new effect in your environment. So I want you to imagine doing this reverse spin where this energy starts to go the opposite direction, and it creates an unwinding and unraveling. It begins to allow you to let go of that tension. And you can just imagine it unravels all the way and whoosh, sends a wave of serenity up over the top of your head, down over the bottoms of your feet, almost like wrapping you in a blanket of warm sunshine that makes you feel loved and safe. Now, as you imagine reversing that spin and unwinding that energy, you'll feel yourself relaxing on the inside, like something on the inside of you suddenly lets go. And that something that lets go is that worry, that fear, and that part of you trying to control. And that trying to control things is what's causing you to feel out of control. So when you relax, then you start to feel more relaxed and more at ease, and then things will start to feel like they're gonna work out. It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. And so using this reverse spin, or using your power breathing, or counting to 5 when you power breathe, works really, really well. Now I wanted to share one more exercise with you too, because some people are like, well, I'm not really good at visualizing and imagining things. Well, that's okay. Let's do some progressive relaxation. Now, progressive relaxation is when you're squeezing the muscles in your body and then relaxing them. And just that extra squeezing the tension and then relaxing it lets it go. So imagine a big sponge, like we're at a fundraiser and we're washing cars and we got these big sponges and they're full of water and they're heavy and they're damp. But if you take those sponges and you wring them out, if you massage the water out of the sponge, then it becomes light and bouncy, right? Like brand new. And we can do the same thing for our body. Now, you can focus on squeezing different muscle groups. So you would squeeze your eyes and your jaw muscles and, right? And like a face flex, count to 5 and then relax. You can do it with your hands, counting to 5 and then relax and letting them go. You can work down through your arms. You can work down through your chest, through your abdomen, your lower back, your butt, your legs, your calf muscles, your feet. So I'm going to focus on doing this with you with your shoulders, because most of us are walking around carrying the weight of the world around on our shoulders like we're Atlas. And so we store a lot of tension in our neck and shoulders and we get headaches and all kinds of stuff. So this is a great exercise for squeezing the tension out of your body. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the top of your shoulders, you're gonna try to touch the ears with your shoulders. So you're gonna go ahead and lift them up like this, okay? And then you're gonna squeeze. Now we're gonna do this twice in a row, so only squeeze halfway at first, because a lot of times our shoulders are really sore, and so you wanna take it easy in the beginning. So go ahead and squeeze up like you're going, I don't know. All right, now hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now drop them down. Now some people will drop them down, some people will be like this, because they're all rusty. Which means you need to do more of this and drink a whole lot more water, okay? And maybe take some fish oil tablets. So fish oil is really good for you. Now, if you eat a lot of fish, that's great, but the fish oil is really good for the omega fatty acids. And so you can just take a tablet every morning. It looks like a little clear liquid pill, and that'll lubricate your body from the inside out as well. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do this again. This time I want you to squeeze harder, okay? So go ahead and lift those shoulders up and squeeze. 1, really feel it. 2, push the tension out of you. 3, 4, 5. Oh, yeah. Take a power breath in through your nose, not your mouth. No mouth breathing here, through your nose. I had a gentleman the other day that said, well, I've got a deviated septum. Well, I had 2 surgeries for a deviated septum, and it's better now, even though my nose is a little crooked. But even then, what I would do is I would literally just pull one of my nostrils open and breathe that way. And you can do it that way too. But you get that air in through your nose, down to your belly, then slowly exhale. When you're squeezing and relaxing, it just lets everything loose. It lets it go. Now here's another one that I love when you're standing up. What you do is you take your elbows and you try to touch them behind your back. I don't know if you can see this. Selfie sticks. But you try to touch your elbows behind your back. And when you touch your elbows behind your back, then it squeezes your shoulder blades, your angel bones for all you angels out there. It squeezes your shoulder blades, and then that's a good way to release the tension across your shoulder blades, right? And that makes you feel more loose, more limp, more relaxed, and at ease as well. So you start to feel loose as a goose. And when you feel relaxed and you feel loose in your body, guess what? Your mind relaxes and you feel more at ease in your head, in your noggin. And so again, when your body feels good, your mind feels good. When your mind feels good, your body feels good. That's why when I'm talking about achieving goals, the first thing I start talking about is how to regain your health and your energy and your vitality. So many professionals and entrepreneurs and business owners will say, you know, why do I care about going for a walk? I'm trying to make more money. And I'm like, yes, going for a walk will clear your mind and make you more focused, more productive. It'll create more innovative ideas. It'll help you think things through so that you have more intentional action instead of lots of cleanup because you're jumping too fast and you're not thinking things through. Going for a walk will refresh you and make you feel good and give you an energy so that you feel like you know why you're working so hard for something, right? So it allows you to remind you of what your purpose is. Am I living? Am I loving? Am I mattering? Am I making a difference? Am I adding value in my life? Am I adding value in other people's lives? All these good things. So that's why we focus so much on taking care of your health before we focus on anything else. So once we're done with this series, I'm going to focus on another series. It's probably going to be on leadership, or it's going to be on time management, or it's going to be on I don't know what else it'll be on. If you have ideas for other things that you'd like in a series, leave them down in the comments, right? So I love when people leave comments because then it lets me know what you're looking for. It's so amazing if people say, Tim, what are you looking for? I always tell them, hey, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that, right? But so many times I'll ask people, what are you looking for? And crickets, nothing. And I'm like, why in the world would you not take advantage of that? And it lets me know that you're not being as intentional as you could be, right? Or you're not being as forward and assertive as you could be. And so if you're watching this and you're just kind of observing anonymously, but you're not leaving comments, you're not liking it, you're not sharing it, you're not doing any of that stuff, then you're not really engaged. You're here, but you're not really engaged. It's kind of like at breakfast time, okay? The chickens are there, but the pigs are committed, right? The chickens are there, they're providing the eggs, but the pigs got to give the bacon, so they're committed, right? They're all in. And so we want to make sure that we are taking advantage of, whenever I ask for some feedback, make sure you give it to me, because then I will create stuff, and that's going to help you get what you want faster. So, all right, so let's do a review. We're talking about getting more restful sleep. We're talking about how important it is to make sure that you're sleeping better so you recharge your batteries, and especially if you have a hard time sleeping. I know so many people have a hard time sleeping. And especially women, when you are around, you know, your 50s and all of a sudden your hormones, your progesterone and your estrogen start to drop a little bit, you got to make sure you start eating more estrogen producing foods. Just Google it, you know, for different estrogen producing foods. And, you know, they've got soy products, they've got other things, as opposed to trying to do all these identical hormones and hormone replacement therapy and everything else. Do it through your food first, and it will start to help increase those levels. Same thing for guys and testosterone. We got to make sure that we are eating more testosterone foods and we're doing more strength training to keep that testosterone going, or otherwise we start to have a lot of problems. And so when you are, but a lot of times when our estrogen and our levels drop, women will find themselves waking up at 3 in the morning and being wide awake and not being able to go back to sleep. And if you don't have a routine and you don't have like the sound sleep program that you can just push play and listen to it, then most people, that starts the pattern. And then they can't fall back asleep till 5 o'clock, and they sleep for a couple more hours and they miss an hour or two of sleep, which can feel bad. But if they do it every night, if you're missing an hour of sleep 7 days a week, that's 7 hours of sleep. That means like 1 day a week, you lost a whole day of sleep or a whole night of sleep, right? That really adds up. In a month, that's 4 days. Set your routine. Make sure that you are going to bed and doing things relaxing before you go to bed. No eating or drinking an hour or two before you go to bed, so you sleep soundly through the night. And then use the sound sleep program, one of my brain software, if you want to get better results. And then use those mind quieting techniques if you need them. So you can do the power breathing, you can count to 5, you can do the progressive relaxation, you can do the reverse spin. Now the nice thing I like about the progressive relaxation is that you work through your whole body. You start at the top of your head, you work through different muscle groups, squeeze in every muscle twice in a row, all the way down to your feet, and then you do a whole body flex. So you just squeeze everything, you squeeze everything at once. And when you squeeze everything at once, then you hold it to the count of 5, and then you let it go, right? And then you do it one more time. And when you do it the second time in the row, I promise you, try it out tonight. It will literally feel like you are floating 2 or 3 inches above the bed, or you just melted 2 or 3 inches into it. Awesome, right? And then you'll sleep better. And then you wake up more refreshed. And then the whole day will feel brighter and more enjoyable. So if you have any questions, you let me know. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow night for episode 8. I don't know what. So have a good night. You can try these techniques out tonight. If you have any questions or you're interested in what we're going to be talking about the next time we get together, after the series after this, if you have some other ideas on topics you'd like to learn about, leave the comments, and then that way I can start working on that for you. Remember, it's coming up quick, May 22nd. May 22nd, we start our group live coaching experience where we jump on the phone every week for 9 weeks in a row. And I start taking you through my amazing mind training experiences. So I'm giving you these tools, but it's a whole different experience to be able to actually close your eyes and let me get into your mind and take you through these powerful experiences. We do it in a small group session over the phone, so it doesn't matter where you live. And then you get access to all the recordings, and then you're going to get books, and you're going to get other programs that you can listen to during the week in between our sessions to keep your results going. It's about 1/3 of the regular price. I've got payment plans there, so it's really awesome. So be there or be square. Be there or be round, not really square. And so we want to make sure that we are focusing on taking advantage of opportunities like this when it comes up, because I'll be your personal coach as we go through this program. It's going to be awesome. So you can go to www.loseweighteasier.com/calendar and check it out there. So if you have any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you, and it's so much fun. I love taking these walks with you, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks so much, and have a beautiful evening, and make tonight a sure success. Talk to you soon. Bye.